Welcome back to Different Walks Serious Talks, where thoughtful conversations meet real life perspectives. You're back here with myself, Jessica, Keisha, Autumn, and Farah. And today we'll be talking about how social media impacts us from a mental health perspective and how it impacts our daily life. We'll be talking about, has social media made people narcissistic? Has it increased our need for validation? Some different things like, does you people using filters, does it come off as inauthentic, and does that change the way you see them? Do people have more options, as in dating options and options for friends, or do they just think they do? How has it changed how you relate to others online and in person? And has it significantly changed your daily habits? The first, Farah had a definition for narcissistic. So we're going to be talking about narcissism probably a bit throughout the episode. So let's start with the definition.
So, narcissism is characterized by a long term pattern of grandiosity, an excessive need for admiration, and a lack of empathy for others. It involves a deeply ingrained, inflated self importance, entitlement, and manipulation, often masking secret feelings of insecurity or low self esteem. The key characteristics and definitions include core traits, preoccupation with fantasies of unlimited success or power, arrogance, and exploitive behavior. Narcissistic personality disorder, which is a formal diagnosis where behaviors are severe, persistent, and interfere with daily functioning. And there's different types of narcissism. So there's the grandeur overt, characterized by arrogance, entitlement, and exploitiveness. The vulnerable covert, characterized by hypersensitivity, defensiveness, and deep insecurity, often masked by superiority. And behavioral patterns, constant need for praise, taking advantage of others, and inability to recognize or identify with the feelings of others. These terms are derived from Greek mythology, where Narcissus fell in love with his own reflection. While minor narcissistic traits can exist, NPD is a diagnosable mental health condition. And then also, social media narcissism refers to the use of platforms like Instagram and Facebook to fuel narcissistic tendencies characterized by excessive self promotion, a constant need for validation via likes, comments, and carefully curated self presentation. It does act as a tool for individuals to display grandiosity, envy, and an inflated sense of self worth. And key behaviors associated with this social media narcissism include constant self promotion, where there's overposting selfies and personal updates to project a perfect self image, validation seeking, high anxiety or depression when posts do not receive expected attention, superficiality, prioritizing shallow connections and follower count over deep relationships, and performance, using platforms to showcase a curated lifestyle intended to induce envy in other people.
Okay. So, I mean, we see it all the time, right? So it's not anything that's like hidden. We see narcissistic people and narcissistic behaviors. Um, So, do you guys feel like you've ever been in a position where you have felt like it has made people that you know personally more narcissistic after getting attention online?
I believe social media didn't create narcissism. It only amplified it and it rewards visibility. It gives the people more attention than they probably accustomed to getting in their private lives. But I don't think it created it. It just amplified, those traits. Those
Yeah,
traits.
narcissism has been around forever for a long time, and I feel like there's increased visibility, and even outside amplifying the traits. Now we see people who are openly narcissistic and they get rewarded for it. So there's no necessity for them to pull back. So I guess in smaller groups, you see somebody narcissistic, and then you see other people who pull back from them in a smaller form, but online they're rewarded for it. They get the follower count, they get the clicks, they get the views. So it's definitely a different form factor.
Yeah, it's how they perform online based on their confidence, their beauty, their status, and other stuff. So they probably didn't get all of this outside of social media. Now, social media makes them a star, look at me, look what I can do. But outside of social media, they're probably regular, degular people that wasn't getting attention. Now they have a platforms to get this set attention.
Actually, while I was at church this morning, I thought that the pastor said something fairly interesting about narcissism, where he was talking about how identity is based off of how you could feel. What did he say? He was basically saying that when you're rejected, it can change your identity. Or when you don't know yourself from rejection, that could change your identity. And a lot of people, when they're online, they don't know themselves at first, and they start posting, and the more people are give positive remarks towards something, they start to put more and more of those particular posts. So sometimes you might see a page where they have a bunch of different posts at first, and then as time goes on, they start to focus more on something particular because they're getting those likes or even going viral. So I think that that has a lot to do with rejection from their own lives and whether they're getting the attention they need to identify themselves. And sometimes that narcissism comes into their identity because of the rejection that they're getting from their daily lives. But that's just an opinion, not a diagnosis, of course.
Definitely. I kind of agree, but I kind of think that the nuance to that is that we're always trying new things, and we end up sticking with the one that works. Even as a kid, you try a bunch of different things, and then it's not always the thing that you're passionate about that you do the most. Sometimes it's the thing that you're good at, right? Sometimes you don't love soccer, but you're just really great at it. So you end up getting the praise, you get feedback from your parents. Oh my God, that was great! You won. It's great. And then you do the thing because you like the praise, not because you love the sport. So I think that it's a normal human thing that like you said, it ends up being a thing that we see on social media, and because they're getting it in such a large wave, and it's not just a parent saying that was good, that was good, that was great. It's like thousands of people saying, "My God, you're so awesome," and you're like, "Y- "You're right, I am awesome." So, you know, it's like a feedback loop. So you need to post more things to get more of that reaction. So, um, so do you think social media has increased any of your personal need for validation?
Not me. I've always been kind of a little bit, I think I'm awesome. I love myself. And I just don't get on social media like that. Even when I do, I don't use filters. And I don't think I've ever edited anything. If I make a mistake and I stutter or something, then I just do. I'm going to post it how it is. And you either like it or don't. I really don't care. It's not that I don't check for likes because I try to remember to check for likes. When somebody asks me, "Hey, did you check your post? It has this many likes." But I forget that I even posted half of the stuff I posted when I post it because I don't necessarily post for myself. I post for my family so that they can see stuff. And it's so much easier with social media to be able to communicate to many people at one time. So for me, social media is used to communicate something that I don't have to sit there and message each person separately. Especially, I know, old school phones or even before cell phones, we had the regular phone lines and we took pictures with cameras. I still do that. And now instead of just having to put everything even on Messenger, I can also drop the photos into these photo frames. I bought a bunch of different Aura photo frames. I got one for my partner's grandmother. I got one for my mom. I even got one for my partner because it's so much easier just to drop them in than to send everybody a separate photo. And it's also less expensive than trying to print them all. So it just makes it easier. But as far as
And
trying to get likes,
she means physical photo frames, by the way. So they are physical photo frames that are connected to an online server. And so you upload them to the server and they appear on the person's photo frame that is already sitting in their home.
Yeah, the only thing that
That's true.
I don't
Yeah,
appreciate
right?
is that you can only send 30-second videos, and sometimes my videos, especially if I'm taking videos of my daughter, they could be 2, 3 minutes long, up to 10 minutes long. So then I have to drop it into Messenger. But if it's over 10 minutes, then you can't even post it on Messenger. You have to actually email it. And, if I even remember to
There's
email
gotta
it,
be limits.
yeah.
There's gotta be limits to everything.
Yeah. So
So so what about you, Autumn? Do you think you feel any extra need for validation for online or because of social media?
For me personally, not really. I think that's because I didn't grow up with social media being the central to my identity. Um, I know we're all of age where um we didn't grow up with it, so it doesn't affect me. When I post something, I don't sit there keep refreshing to see if I got a certain amount of likes. Um, I've always been more internally driven. I don't need outside validation because I love myself and I don't need somebody to tell me what they like and what they don't like about me. Um, but I do think social media can train people, especially the younger generation, to link their self-worth to engagement numbers. When the likes and comments and followers become a scoreboard, it's easy for validation to start coming from strangers instead of from within. So for me, nah, I'm good. I mean, I'll read the comments and I like it, but it's not going to make me or break me if I don't get a certain amount of comments or likes or whatever on whatever. No, don't need the social media validation.
What about
what
you,
about you,
Keisha?
Jess?
What about you,
Oh,
Jessica?
right?
Yes, I concur.
Um, okay, so I don't have any extra need for validation. I will say that it has changed my view of certain things. Um, so I think that so it from a personal perspective, I don't have any extra need for validation from other people. But some of the content that other people put out does validate things that I've felt for a really long time. So, something with Kai, I can't remember his Life with Kai or something like that. He's a gentleman who posts about ADHD, and there are other ones that post about like autism and neurodivergent thinking. And I never thought like I've always thought I was just weird.
Mm.
And people around me are like, you are weird. You're weird, and we accept you, but you're weird. Uh, but because all you guys know me, and you guys have all called me weird one time or another, and you're like, and I love how weird you are. But internally, it's like sometimes I think like, why am I like this? Why is it that my thought process doesn't follow like a normal thought process? And so watching some of these videos and understanding that other people also have like either a similar thought process or an adjacent thought process has kind of validated the experience that I've had over time. That like it's not that I'm just weird. I am neurodivergent. I do need certain checklists. I do have like for instance, if I ask somebody, hey, do you want to do this? And they say yes, that is almost like a checklist in my mind. Until we do that thing is not checked off. If I say, "Hey, do you wanna go do an escape room?" That is going to in intermittently show up in my brain until we go do an escape room. If you say, "Hey, I'm gonna call you back," and you don't call me back, that is an open checklist item in my brain. So I even friends, like sometimes I have to be like, "It's okay if you don't because I need to close that checklist in my mind, and I assume that you will not." And some people will take it and they're like, "Oh, you just don't believe in me." And I'm like, "No. There is the possibility that you're going to forget and that's okay. I just need to close a checklist item in my brain so that I don't go crazy. Cuz I'm going to go crazy here looking at my phone because it's an open checklist item in my brain that I need to close, right? So it just understanding that I'm not the only person that thinks like that, it has been very much calming for me. So I don't need personal validation, but it has validated some of my experiences, if that makes
I
any
like to
sense.
point out that everyone in our family is a little bit weird, and we all call each other weird.
Yeah.
And we'd
Oh yeah.
actually rather be weird than normal because normal is a standard for everyone. And who wants to be like everyone? Like, come on. It's good to
Also,
be
no,
weird.
no, I
No, I'm
think
a
weird is a
weirdo.
lot of fun. I
I'm
love
a
weird. And
Yeah,
also,
I love being.
normal is a relative term. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're in a house full of weirdos, then you're normal to that house. So you fit right
Yes,
in. You know what I'm saying?
yes,
It's all relative.
Exactly.
So
You guys are
yes.
my weirdos.
that's right.
Thank
It's
you,
about
though.
finding your tribe. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah,
Hmm. So what about you, Keisha?
I think I might I think I might be the outlier here. I think in this group, I'm the weirdo. Because
We love you, weirdo.
We
thank
all
you.
weirdos.
Feel validated. Be- because see, you picking up what I'm putting down. Because I absolutely need compliments to survive. Okay. If I don't get them,
Same.
I will wither away and die. This is a fact. I'm not exaggerating at all. So
Understand.
yeah, I know you
But you're
understand
so
because we go
cool
way
that
back.
you're so easy to compliment. So it's like
Yeah,
like
You see, that will
exactly.
it's not a bad
sustain me
thing.
for at least like 4 to 5 days. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. So good. Swear. Like I really do need that validation, even though I know in my mind that I love myself thoroughly. If I don't get a compliment in a while, I'm like a little, feel a little parched. You know what I'm saying? But I know that about myself. So with that being said, I don't post on social media a lot. Like I don't post personal images. I don't post personal experiences. I'm intentional about it because I know that I will fixate on the numbers. So now that I'm a part of this project and my own project, I have to be very cognizant about how much I check. Like I give myself rules. I say, okay, I'm going to post this at this time and I will allow myself to check 2 times within a 24-hour span. No more than that. Otherwise, I get so fixated on just figuring out what didn't go well or what could have gone better, so on and so forth. And it'll ruin the experience for me. Like, let's say if I'm having a great time on this podcast, when I look back at just the numbers, I suddenly don't see my experience the same because now I'm weighing it against
Oh.
versus what I went through in that moment versus how people are responding. So I have to tell myself, I'm not going to do that. I understand that the algorithm is a beast and it constantly needs to be fed and it reacts to certain things and it trains people a certain way. So I have to tell myself, don't take it personal and don't allow myself to hyperfixate. So I just give myself certain rules in order to keep that, contained so that I can be aligned with what makes me happy and what actually brings me joy as opposed to being caught up in just the numbers. So I think that would probably be my tip. I know we didn't get to the tips and tricks part of our discussion, but that would be my tip is just to go ahead and be aware of who you are and how you operate and then make sure you make rules so that you can still remain true to yourself and you don't get caught up in other people's narratives.
Absolutely, especially when you're a content creator. I think that does speak to it, and that's why I thought your perspective would be very much different and interesting because you do have your own podcast, and you do have your own content that you put out. So after starting content creation, that's when it became a little different for me. But my perspective changed in a different way than yours. I would do this even if it never blew up. If we ended up with 3 subscribers for 3 years, I wouldn't care because of the community that we're building. So just being able to meet with you guys weekly and talk about these things and chat and laugh and do that. And so I my perspective shifted because it's funny, I posted like the first ones and I'm like, um man, this might get a lot of views. And then when it actually didn't get that many views, I was like, you know, it's okay because I still get to meet with them next week. Like I get to meet like if this doesn't blow up in X amount of time, we are still going to meet every single week and talk about things and have fun and maybe bicker a little bit about some topic that we're very passionate about and then still laugh and still support each other. So I feel like it it was able to bring to mind that nuance and make me really really appreciate what that looked like. So and of course I know your podcast is a little different than this one, but it's a lot of fun too. You know, we've seen it no matter how you slice it, and it is very much like fun and whimsical and sweet and like it's almost like its own game show. I love
Thank
it. So
you.
it's so cute. Um, and of course,
For
you have cute people. And cute people on there, cute stuff. It's awesome.
I needed that eating up. Thank you.
Um, so do so you guys have seen the comments on our social media, right? We've seen the good comments and the bad comments and the crazy stuff. And so now my question is, from a personal perspective too, like not just our podcast, like from on your personal social media and then on this podcast social media, do comments impact your real life?
Nah, not at all. I remember there was something about us looking old, and I started to think about it for a few minutes. So I came in and I commented on whatever my page is because I don't remember the name of it right now, about age. And it's such a blessing to get to our age and people calling me old. Thank you for the pat in the back. Like, come on, people. I don't care if you think I look old, or even if some people, sometimes I come across people that like, oh my God, you look like a baby and you're all the way in your 40s. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to let it impact me either way. What I am going to do is probably forget to post again for a while, which I don't think I've posted since that one. So I'm probably going to try and post sometime this week. But comments from people on social media are kind of like comments in real life. You're either going to go ahead and take it with a grain of salt and you can react if you want to, but I've learned that if you react to people when you're in person, that can get you in trouble. And
Yeah, the keyboard
yeah,
warriors
because I
are
have a
out
mouth.
here.
So I'd rather do other stuff with my time. And so I'm not going to sit here and worry about comments on our posts or comments on if I remember to do my IG, or is it IG or is it TikTok? I think it's a TikTok. Look, this is why I
TikTok.
forget to do it. But either way, I do see people around me who it impacts in such a way that's detrimental, where they end up with depression or anxiety. And you can't let things get to you like that. If you start letting social media get to you like that, and you're not even paying attention to the things that are actually in your life, you can't appreciate real life stuff. Like there's actual stuff to do outside of social media, and you should limit it anyway. Social media should be
Right.
limited not just for children, but for adults as well. Because social media can impact a lack of sleep, and lack of sleep can lead to depression and suicidal thoughts. And social media can also impact how you think about life. Like you could sit there and all your life have thought God is great, he's the most high, and then you get on social media and you see all these people talking about how there's no such thing as God, or this is the right God, or that's the right God, and all of a sudden you're thinking something different. And I don't fully understand it, but there are plenty of people like that who second guess themselves just because of social media. And just take a step back. It's okay to go and take a run, walk outside, swim in a pool, go to escape room, paint with your friends. They have all these new things nowadays where you can go and sip wine and paint, or there's chocolate making. There's just so many things to do.
There are a lot of
So,
things to get out there and do. So,
yeah, and if you
um,
really want to find
yeah,
friends, go out there and find some.
yeah.
It's much harder these days. I will say that. It's much harder these days for people to find friends in the real world. There's a lot of people whose lives really do encompass their online presence. There are people that who have friends that only exist on the internet, right? They play oh my God, I don't know the word. Please,
Video
internet,
games.
don't kill me. They play video
No,
games,
well,
yes, but
not just video games.
they're like role playing video games
Yeah,
and they create like their teams. I'm butchering the
like
language. I'm
open
sorry,
world,
y'all.
open
Yes,
world games. Yeah.
yes, right? And they've only met these people online and they might be the only people that they connect with, you know? So I think you bring up a very good point, Farrah. It's good to put it in perspective. However, I would say some people that is their perspective. They do live through their social media presence.
She has some
So
information on that.
I think I saw a little bit of some of the stuff that you shared in one of the sites that you included. They talked about 44% of adults have a, have felt bullied online. 44% to me is a big number, you know, and it's really sad. So I think that it's important that people remember that there are real folks on the other side of the screen that you're talking to. And while it might not be a big deal to you, this might be how they spend most of their time. This might be their world. You know what I'm saying? From their perspective, this is how they feel connected to others. So if you come in and you are just very critical and you don't know the kind of impact you might have on someone. So I say that to say not everybody shares the same lived experience as you. You might have a real world connection that you can feel safe in so that when the internet feels scary, you can retreat to that and feel grounded. Other people, that is their experience. They live online and it's just harder for them to connect with people in person. So I don't say that to you, Farah. I'm talking to people in general. Just remember that yeah, okay, cool.
I have a
So that's
friend.
basically it,
I have a friend who I've never met. I've known him
right?
for I've known him for 3 years, maybe four, and I've never met him in person. And
Like a
Wow.
pen
he's
pal.
we're well, we matched on a dating app. We realized that we're just friends, and we matched on like every dating app. Every time we saw each other, we would hit say yes. But we knew we were just friends, so we kept matching. But every time we would go back to texting, and we text for a while and say hi, and we'd say we were gonna meet up and hang out and chat. And he's an anime guy as well, and he likes games and he likes wrestling. So like for years, like I said, it's been like 3 or 4 years now. We've been saying, "Yeah, we'll catch up. We'll hang out sometime." And I told him recently, I was like, "You could be AI, and you could be the experiment, or I'm the experiment." And
And
I would
neither
have
one of
no
us would
idea.
know.
We had no idea. We've never video chatted. We've never like we've chatted on the phone, but that could be AI. I don't know. But yeah, these are experiences, and I know some people who actually have that experience with more than one person. Like this is only one person that I know, but there are several people that I know that have mostly people that they connect through video games or connect through social media, and that is the bulk of their friends, and they really don't have anybody else in their life that, like you said, they really don't have any other presence other than online. They go to work, they have work people, and they don't connect with them outside of work, and then they come home and all their people are online. So
Yeah.
it's definitely an interesting thing.
I think it's just basically a sign of the times. We live in a different world, right? Like I don't particularly get into and I don't so like Meta has this whole like online virtual experience. People spend a lot of money on, their skins and accessories for their avatars and so on and so forth, and they are making a killing, right? I don't particularly get into that. If there are people where this is their life, And I think it's really just a sign of the digital world that we're living in. And I'm not knocking it, because if it works for you, great. I would just be concerned with whether, again, you're making the right rules for yourself so that you remain happy and healthy while navigating this world, right? So, example that Farah gave, where perhaps you're experiencing some negativity, do you have a way to regulate those feelings? Do you have a way to go ahead and reorient and remember that you are an important and valid person that is deserving of love? You know, how do you get back to that when you receive these knocks online? So I think that's the critical thing to focus on. Your existence is yours. Live your life how you want. If you live
But yeah,
online, do that to the fullest, you know? But just make sure that you have a way to navigate it where you feel safe and loved and protected. And if that means you have, extreme moderation settings set, if that means you have somebody that you connect with online or in real life where things get tough, you sit there and say, I can't read these comments. Can you go through them for me? Whatever that looks like for you. I'm here for it. I support it, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it.
and the thing is there's plenty of people who are introverts and who need social media to be able to interact with other people. I just don't want you to forget that even if you are having some type of mental incapacity, nothing beats a warm body. Like, I understand sometimes it's hard to go out and find friends. It's hard to go out and interact with people, especially if you've had so many negative experiences, or even if you've never had a negative experience and it's something that's just genetic. Even if you're going through that, it's always helpful to find at least one person that can give you a hug, because the power of a hug is, I don't even know how to explain how much a simple hug can. It's like when you get a hug, I'm trying to remember exactly what I read about getting hugs. Yes, there's endorphins that release in your body to alleviate depression, suicidal thoughts. So being an introvert, it's understandable, especially in today's world. People who end up living in their homes and ordering everything and never leaving their homes, it happens. But if you could find at least one warm body when you truly need that hug to help release those endorphins so that you don't commit suicide. Because along with mental health disorders increasing, soar suicide rates. And you never know, if you've made social media your entire universe, the day when that universal will collapse and you won't want to live anymore. So find at least one person you could count on. One person, even if it's online that you meet that person and you keep on talking to them for 3 or 4 years. Eventually try and make a plan to meet in person. So,
No,
and
he
if
might
you
be
don't get
AI.
along, possibly, but who knows? If you're able to get along for 3 or 4 years online, make it public, go to a public place. I'm not saying meet them at a hotel or anything where they can strangle you and take you, snuff out your life, but meet in a public place where maybe not so public that you're going to be so nervous that you don't want to be there. Because obviously, if you're an introvert, you don't want to go to some huge place where there's so much noise, but maybe there's a soft place like a speakeasy, because those are actually becoming a thing again,
Yeah.
where they
I
have
mean,
some
it's
soft
it's just
music where you
about
can
being
still hear
being
each
careful,
other.
right? It's
Yeah.
just about
Yeah.
being careful. So just be
I will
careful
say
and
though,
oh,
oh
sorry.
god.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say to Farah's point, she said find at least that one person. Sometimes in some instances that one person is gonna be you. That one person to be
It
your
could
safe
be.
space might be yourself. So I remember reading some kind of, therapy, or maybe I was listening to a podcast or something, but the therapist was saying like self-soothing and just like even caressing your own arm will provide you comfort. It will release a certain amount of serotonin. So just having that touch. And when I heard it, I was like, this lady's crazy. But then I found myself in
No,
a
it's a thing.
moment where I needed
Definitely. 100% a thing.
this. Like, crazy. But
Self-soothing
then I
is
tried it and I was like,
top tier.
you know what? Heck yeah. I need this
Yes.
sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And
Self-soothing
so
weighted blankets?
yes, whatever it takes. So if you have to find that one person, and that one person be you, know that you can count on you. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And just know that you're not alone in that. There's other people that are similar. It's great to reach out. It's great to have a community. We love it when you can find your tribe. Some days it's going to be a tribe of one, and that's okay. Sometimes it's going to be weeks where it's going to be a tribe of one, but you have enough within you. You carry enough with you to get you through those times.
And
I
I know that
agree.
depression is huge. Go ahead, Autumn, because you haven't spoke for a while.
No, I agree. I am a natural inverted person. Um, Outside and online. It's just I've always been this way. And I when you was speaking about, introverts, I'm like, is she reading me right now? She reading my life right now. Because naturally that's how I am. I don't have to be around a bunch of people. And I can literally I stay in my house like 2 weeks at a time. I really don't go out if I don't have to go out. Amazon is on, I'm not gonna say speed dial, but all my stuff, if I ain't got to leave this house, I ain't gonna leave it. Instacart, Amazon, all this other stuff can deliver to my front door. I'm fine. And then I got my little humans I gotta deal with on a daily basis. I'm always busy, so I'm not worried about the validation or having to have that community. I've always lived like this in my own little
Right.
bubble. And I understand, Farrell, you gave out great advice to people such as myself that, you know, uh, feel that they have to be in communion with other people all the time. Um, it's okay being an introvert. It really is. So yeah, just
And don't let nobody tell you otherwise either. You could be an introvert or an extrovert. I was actually trying to explain that to my daughter because she's a toddler and she doesn't understand because she's so extroverted and outgoing. When she sees a shy child, she's like, I said, come on, hold my hand. I'm like, Lovey, please. You have to realize not everyone's like you. You like to say hello to everybody. Give them a little bit of space, give them some time,
uh,
and either they'll come to you or they won't. And yesterday, when we were in her ballet class, there was this little girl. She was just the cutest little thing. She was so shy. She didn't want to give my daughter a high five at the beginning, but by the end of class, since my daughter gave her that space and I explained to her she needed some space to get used to you first, she ended up coming to at the end of the class and saying high five. I was so proud. I was like, oh, look at that. I actually explained something right. So that felt good.
Good
Oh,
job, babes.
good job. So, Autumn, Keisha, do you guys get impacted by comments on social media?
honestly, not much. I think when you've gone through real life hardships, and the comments on the internet don't carry the same weight. But that being said, I think comments can affect people psychologically, especially when they're
Definitely.
constant. We're human, and as humans, we're social creatures. So repeated praise and repeated criticism can slowly influence how someone sees themselves. But for myself personally, nah, I let that, like water off a duck's back. I just let it, I just let it roll. I don't worry about what somebody, like people say rude or stupid things in our social media comments. And we've been going over it. And it was like, are they serious right now? And then I remember, what was it? Somebody said something. I was like, oh, please let me comment. Please let me
Yeah.
comment. Yeah. Let me mess up their day too if they're trying to mess up mine. But after that, I really don't care about what some troll, because that's what they are, a bunch of trolls. If you ain't got nothing to say, mom always say, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all.
That
And
part.
that's what I live by. And but don't get me wrong. You wanna act stupid? I will mirror your energy and leave it at that. So no, I don't worry about stupid comments on online. What the fuck? No.
What you, Keisha?
I'm gonna be the weirdo again. Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes. So I say that to say, like, it will bother me if I let it, right? So I think the first time I learned about the red pill gang was when Autumn told us in the chat, and I was like, "What is red pill?" And I had to Google it, and I was like, "Oh, that's exactly what that is."
Yeah.
So, and then I do recall being upset. I was upset for many reasons. One being that we were all attacked based off of something that I had said. And I will admit the way I said it was very reactive because I was reacting to something that was said. So people are seeing it in just that little context. And when I read some of those comments, I'm not gonna lie, some of them did make me laugh. But
Yeah. Some were ridiculous.
they were. but the overall experience upset me because again, everybody was attacked based off of something that I had said, and I didn't feel like it was fair for each of my friends to take some of that heat. So I did have an initial reaction, but then I also had to sit with myself and then put it in perspective. Like Autumn mentioned, I have been through some real life trials and tribulations. So I had to sit there and say, at the end of the day, this actually impacts me none at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still live the life that I live, whether you like me or if you hate me. Um, and if you hate me based off of a small clip or you're giving hate to me based off a small clip that you caught online, I had to put it in perspective and say, "Wow, I wish your life was more fulfilling to the point
Hmm.
where if you had this visceral reaction instead of spilling that hate online, sat with it and try to understand where did it come from. You know
Why
what
you
I'm
feel that
saying?
way?
You didn't just react and then spew all this negativity. I've never been able to truly understand what really motivates people to do that. I've come across stuff online that I don't like or disagree with, and most of the time I keep it moving. So the fact that people are different in that regard, most of the time I'm like, okay, they're dealing with something inside themselves, and it's not really a reflection of me. But there are moments where I have to make that conscious choice. I have to put it in perspective because my initial reaction is, oh, you know what I'm saying? Or, wow, that was just so mean, you know? But then I have to go ahead and reframe it and say it's not even, it doesn't even have anything to do with me. It probably has something to do with the sense of rejection that they felt. Um, so I just try to remember it's not me they mad at, you know what I'm saying? They're really mad at whatever happened to them that triggered that response. So it does bother me, but only as much as I let it. And I'm thankful that I'm in the place where I am generally happy with my life. I'm in the place where I can reflect and I can get grounded. And if I need to go get a hug from someone, I have a lot of people I could choose to get that hug from. If I need to reach out, I have all these ladies here. I have my family. And if it worst comes to worst, I could pull one of these. I have those tools readily available. So I do have to put it in perspective sometimes. And it usually doesn't take me a whole lot to do that. I can get to that place relatively quickly. Is it like that? Not yet, but I'm working on it.
And you just?
I'd say some of the comments, it doesn't. So this again a weird thing for me because I have to read all the comments because I try to respond on our social media, and I don't post a lot on my personal social media outside of the podcast, my business, and then every once in a while some random picture. I don't like seeing comments that are unwarranted about you guys, but in my brain I'm like, they wouldn't say that if they knew them.
I
Like,
know, right?
I feel like these are keyboard warriors that are, like, emboldened by the fact that you can't touch them. Like, they are people who are emboldened by, somebody I was chatting with a friend not too long ago, and, they read something online, they were like, "This guy hasn't been punched in the mouth enough." And and I feel like that like, some people who comment, that might be, like they have not in real life said this thing to somebody and got punched in the mouth.
And
And
not that we're
so
advocating for violence, we're just saying
we're
that
not
u
advocating for violence. However,
usually there are consequences. Autumn, Sarah, ladies.
for violence because here's the
No,
thing,
no,
that
no.
person probably would never say that out loud because they know they would get punched in the mouth. They haven't been punched
Very
in the mouth because
possible,
they wouldn't
yes.
say it in real life.
Yes.
So
Freedom
that's
of
the context
speech.
there.
Freedom of speech is not freedom from consequence.
Exactly.
You can't get punched in the mouth. You know what I'm saying?
You can't.
You can't get punched in the
I'm
mouth.
nonviolent. I don't punch people in the mouth. Unless somebody hits me, I don't hit them, right? I keep my hands to myself. However, I'm sure there's less of me than there are of them. Like there are less of me who are nonviolent than people who will generally punch you in the mouth if you say something untoward towards them.
Can I share a story? Can I share a story
Yeah.
just to highlight that? So there are people that are just, more inclined to violence. Okay. I have a brother that's like that. He likes to train, he likes to fight. And then one time while we were in school, he did get into a fight because somebody said something he weren't supposed to. They did, in fact, get punched in the mouth. And while they were fighting, I was there because I'm of the mind that if one of us fight, we all fight. It's not going to be fair. If you roll up on Jessica, Autumn, or Farrah, and I'm there, you're rolling up on me too. And I don't fight fair. I scratch,
Ooh.
I bite, I'm going for your eyes, I'm picking it. Anywho, so my brother was holding his own because, again, he liked to do that. Okay. He likes to fight. And they got the person on the ground and there was an ant pile next to them. And I was like, put their face in the ant pile. And my brother's like, what?
Yes.
I'm like, put their face in the ant pile. And he's like, okay. And I was like, no, I was kidding. Don't do it. Don't do it. And I was like, they've had enough. It's time to stop. So I say that to say there are consequences out there, you guys. Don't think because you do whatever online, it's going to stay online. Some people will find you. And we're seeing more instances of that where I've seen a
Yes.
couple of ladies, they're tracking these
Yes.
people down at their job and they'd be like, oh, so you wanted to say this? You wanted to call me what online? I also found out you have a Grinder account. Should we let your wife know? So I'm just saying.
And you know
Does your
what?
job know that
I'm
you're
glad you
racist?
said something like
Does your
that.
job know that you're racist? It happens.
A tragedy happened in Las Vegas where there was a feud between two content creators, and one
No.
guy took it so serious where it was two guys, and then one of the men was out in Las Vegas just vacationing with his wife, and he found him and shot him right there on the spot.
Oh my God.
Shot him in front of his wife in Las Vegas because they had a
These are
feud on social media.
these are
Yeah, I think it was
cautionary
like
tales.
last year before last, something like that. But yeah,
That is so sad
some
that
people
somebody
take it
lost
to
their life based off a word said online. Like it's so sad.
And this is the world we live in.
So that segues into another question that we were talking about, which is authenticity online. So do you guys think that that you can be so two questions really that are adjacent to each other. Number one, do you think you can put your authentic self online? Like, is it possible to put your authentic self online? Number one, and number two, um, is it does it come off as inauthentic to use filters?
I don't think it's inauthentic. I think it's fun. I don't necessarily use filters for the majority of my stuff, but once in a while I'll find something. It's so fun because you didn't used to have that kind of stuff. So you can
Yeah.
make yourself a fish face. It's just so
I'm
funny.
not talking about
A
like, hey,
cartoon.
give me some like bear ears. I'm talking about like where you look like you have makeup on and you don't. Like that kind of filter. Like
You
it's
can
supposed to
do
be
Okay.
like
that.
the pretty face
Yes,
filter.
girl.
Those sort
be
of things.
tripping me out.
Yeah.
Girl. You've never been watching a video
Look,
and the
I
girl's
didn't know
eyelashes are like this,
until
but every
yeah.
so often they blink and the eyelashes don't match up. You've never seen these videos?
Funny
Because I
enough,
be
most people
noticing.
think I have fake lashes most of the time anyway. So why not? Let me put some fake lashes on online. I can't do it
I
in real
know.
life. I can't have people playing in my eyes. I can't even play in my own eyes. You tripping. But yeah, people think I have fake eyelashes.
So
It's
so do
not a
you guys
filter.
think that filters are inauthentic?
I don't think it's
If you use it
inauthentic.
too much, if you use it too much where you got to have it on, like, say for selfies, right? I don't know when filters came about. I think what around Instagram, when Instagram came about or whatever,
No
because it
idea.
is not so much with Facebook, but Instagram. A
Well,
lot
there's
of
a lot
people
with
would use
Facebook.
the filters, um, for selfies, right? And but if you keep using it for I want to say a lot of your selfies, then I will believe that's inauthentic because that's a form of catfishing, if you will. You're not presenting your true identity, your true self. So if you always got to use filters all the time, not only is it fake, but you don't love yourself. You don't love who you look like. You don't love who you are. So if you constantly got to have filters all the time, that's kind of
You ever
sad
heard of
state of.
a time and a place? Instead of a time and a place, it's like a time and a post. It just depends on the post, right?
Well,
No,
I mean,
well,
people could
if for
also say
dating,
that
it's highly used
so
in dating.
so the other
Oh,
side of that though is that people could say that if you're always wearing makeup, that means that the same thing, right? So
I was
I
just
don't
gonna
know.
say that.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say that. I got a filter on right now. What, girl?
yeah.
I didn't wake up like this. You know what I'm saying?
But okay, but there have been episodes where we not wearing it all the time. You see what I'm saying? There are episodes where people can actually see what we look like without the makeup on. Like I know during the beginning of our journey, I hardly wore any makeup. All I had was just, my lip gloss. So you can see the then and the now. But yeah, I don't have no problem not wearing makeup. I know
I
who I
made
am.
changes too. I put lip gloss on.
Yeah, and
I meant
and
to.
TikTok, I have a few pictures of myself where I have a few filters, and then I have some pictures where I have nothing on, but you can see the little spots or whatever. I don't care. You like it, you like it. You don't, you don't. I don't care. But if you gotta constantly uh put those filters on, I think it's yeah, I
I
don't
think
know.
that
It's
the
question.
only problem that it would create would be your own self image too for yourself. Like if you're always using a filter online and people are like loving it, then if you finally post one of yourself without it and they're like, "Oh my God, what is this?" That could be detrimental to your self affirmations. Like you could be like, "Oh my
I'll be
God, this is
honest.
how I
That's
actually
why
look,
I don't
guys."
use them. That's why I don't use them. So and I know it's a weird reason, but I don't use filters because I would I don't want to meet somebody in person. They're like, "Oh, you look significantly different than you did
Like
Yeah,
that
online."
one guy you
So,
met.
like, which one guy I met? Which one guy?
Never mind, never mind.
Some guy who
Are you
looked
saying that the
significantly
guy looked
different?
different?
I
Yeah, I
don't think it
guess
was
so.
a filter. He just posted younger pictures and he was older. That's all.
you know
Yeah.
what? Oh
Um,
my God! You know what really started this? Black Planet. Have y'all when
did
people
Black
would
Planet have
take
filters?
weird, no, not filters, but okay, like say for instance, and somebody take a thin picture, right? An old picture of them when they was skinny as hell and stuff,
Yeah,
nice
of
and
course.
slender, right? But when you see them in person, you be like, wait a minute, you don't look like the
Yeah,
picture. Oh,
Yeah, because
that
that
picture
picture
was
was
taken
10
10
years
years
ago.
ago.
Yeah, yeah, come on
all
now.
dating sites.
That's messed
That's
up.
all day.
Wow.
Yeah,
I do have a
yeah.
Black Planet story too, though. So I posted on Black Planet or whatever. I talked to this guy and then I sent him like a picture from my phone or whatever. And then he was like, "You are lighter on Black Planet than you are in this picture." And I'm like, "Okay." And he was like,
It was
"Yeah,
the
but you're
lighting,
lighter."
bruh.
And I'm like,
Is that a
"They were two
problem? The
different
black and the blurry,
cameras."
the sweeter the juice, bruh.
I was
What are
like,
you
"There's
talking about?
I was like, there's I had two different cameras. One was taken with a digital camera, and one was taken with my phone because it was that far. It was that long ago.
Yeah.
He
And
wasn't
he was like,
deserving anyway.
Yeah.
"Girl, I
He
did not spend too much time because I was like, I'm not gonna just keep trying to convince you." And he was like, "Take a picture with the spoon." And I took a picture with the spoon, and that was the last picture he ever got. And I was like, "Okay, well, I'm
What?
tired
Wow.
because I've been weary. I grew tired of this real fast."
I've gotten that before. I've gotten a couple of times, like, people questioning whether I like my skin because I appear differently in different photos. And they're like,
But isn't
"Oh,
that
you
always,
must want to
even when you
be."
take a regular
Well,
camera?
Well, I look significantly so I offset the lighting for today, but when it's directly on me, I look several shades lighter. So some
Yes.
of our
That
videos,
got me
I
about to
look
check my light.
particularly bright. So I somebody asked me in real life, they were like, "Oh, so you must have put makeup on to appear brighter." And I'm like, "No, it's I don't wear makeup and it's literally just lighting." And they're like, "Oh, you probably have a filter."
You see how much people
Wow.
just like to get just it's just start assuming. Stop assuming. You don't know. Lighting is a thing. Also, Jessica is one of the brighter people. Okay, so her summer shade is different than her winter shade. Okay,
Yes.
and y'all better leave her alone.
You know you could change every time you go into the sun, right? Just
Yeah.
saying.
I can change in 24 hours.
We
But
went swimming
but
yesterday
it's
and
an
my daughter
interesting
looked
thing.
totally different.
Yeah, it's a
Girl,
different
I be
thing.
mad when I get a tan line. I be like, no.
So that's why
As
you
It's
still
dark
have
people
to
as
go
have
to
I
Nude
am,
beautiful
Beach just
chocolate
to fix
I'm
it.
skin.
tanning. I
You
just
gotta have
knew that,
beautiful chocolate
I wasn't
skin.
gonna ever tan. It be happening. I'm like, mother, the heck? My daughter get on me
So
all the time, talking about, yes, mommy, you still have to wear sunscreen. No, I don't.
you do.
I don't.
Totally. Oh
No.
my goodness.
Yes. So everybody, and for everybody watching, do not listen to that. Regardless of your skin tone, you need to wear sunscreen. It is to protect yourself from skin cancer. And Black people actually tend to have a higher instance, not because we are more prone to it, but mostly because we don't protect ourselves because we don't think we need it. So
That's propaganda.
that
Don't
is
listen to her. Listen.
wow.
Yes,
Oh
I'm
no.
vampire.
I've
I
been
wouldn't know.
sunburnt. I've gotten tan. I've been
You're a
sunburnt
vampire.
again, but it's
Just
optional.
so
It's
you
optional,
know,
y'all.
sunlight actually is good for you even when you're an introvert. And here's the reason. Sunlight
It is.
provides vitamin D, and vitamin
Yes.
D can increase positive feelings.
And you
Just
know we
saying,
love
if you're
vitamin
feeling
D.
depressed, if you take a walk in the sun, it can actually lighten your mood. Just
We
to
love
let you
It's
know.
vitamin
true.
D.
Well,
This
I'm a
is true.
vampire. I'm gonna say like this. I don't care.
Autumn say she didn't got to worry about no
You
summer
could
shade
just
because
put,
she stay
look,
in the
just
house.
open your blinds. Open the blinds, Autumn. That's all.
Okay, so do you guys think that people have so we kind of talked to Jason to this, but because of the amount of people that are online, do you think people just think they have more options for friends and dates and spouses, or do they actually have more options? Like is it just like an appearance of having more options, or do they really have more options? Are they
I
tricking
think it's
themselves?
twofold. I think it's twofold. I think because we live in this network that connects us with so many more people, you do have more potential options because your radius has now expanded, right? Before you could only date the people that were in your town. Now you can date people that are two towns over. And it might not even be dating. It might be platonic. It might be for professional development. You do get to open up your world, right? But I will say that just the appearance of having more options has a way of tweaking the way that you think and the way that you move, right? There are people that, and I can't remember where I learned this from, but it's been like proven that just thinking you have these options will make you act a little more, a little more haughty, and make you act a little more reckless, even though the options might not be real. You might be getting hit up by chatbots or people that are catfishing. They might not really exist, but you believe that they do. So it does actually impact your psyche, your ego, and so on and so forth. So I always like to think, it's important to stay humble. Stay humble because even if you do have so many options, if the options are real, you never know when your life might change in just a moment, right? Things can change like that. So just stay humble. As much as I love compliments, and I do get them on occasion, so delicious, so good. Thank you,
I think I
Jessica.
got
Thank
this
you
from
again.
Autumn. So
But something
she
can
said
happen in the
something in
moment.
another episode that made me think about friends versus acquaintances. Just because you have a bunch of friends online doesn't mean they're actually friends. They could be acquaintances. You should only have a handful of friends anyway.
It's quality
Was
over
that from you, Autumn?
quantity.
I
I
agree.
like
Yeah.
that. I like that when you said it, and
Mhm.
I didn't forget it. So obviously, it's something good to me. So
Yeah.
just because you have
Truth.
a lot of friends online doesn't mean they're your actual friends. And will they show up if somebody's dying in your family, or if you need a little bit of money because your kids can't eat, or if you don't have a ride to wherever, are they gonna Uber you? Like, what is a true friend? You need to ask yourself that. Like, just because there's a lot of people commenting on your stuff doesn't mean they're actually
Yeah.
friends.
The definition of friend has gotten a little muddied. And it's
Skewed.
funny, to Keisha's point, there's this song by Marcus Canty, and it's called In and Out. And in the song, he says he's surrounded by so many other girls, it'd be hard for him to do it. It's hard for him to commit to one person because he's always chasing the thing that's better. So
That sucks.
he's so he always thinks that around the corner is somebody who might be better. So it's hard to commit to this person who's really
Oh,
great. You might be really great, but it's possible that I would find somebody around the corner that's actually better even than you, even though you're amazing. So I feel like in these online communities, that's what we're running into, is that, and especially in the dating world, we are dating world friends, everything. We're saying, oh, well, yeah, you're great. Also, if I keep looking, I might find somebody better because I actually now have a pool of thousands.
that's sad.
Mhm.
Whereas people don't take into account the fact that, the pool is smaller than you really think. For like from a relationship standpoint and a platonic standpoint, there's only so many people who are going to see things as you see them, who are going to be able to mesh with how you are as a person, and really be able to connect with you on the same level, be able to communicate with you in the way that you require. So we see this big pool, and we're like, oh yeah, there's tons of people out there. And then you don't really think about the fact that to mesh with you, you're talking about maybe 1% to maybe 2% of that larger pool who are actually compatible. And then you have to find those people out of that larger bucket to actually connect with.
Yeah.
So it's rough. Yeah.
And you think you have tons of options, but you're only looking at what they present online. You don't really know these individuals. So to your point, you're like, oh yeah, this person's amazing, this person's great. But when it comes time to actually figure out if you're compatible, you're like, I'm only compatible with IG you. I'm only compatible with TikTok you. Going to the store, on a random Tuesday night you is not my cup of tea. And you won't know until you get in there. But if you spend your whole entire life just chasing the next best thing, you'll never be satisfied. And I'm not really into like zodiac signs or whatever, but I'm a Sagittarius, and they do talk about we love adventures. We love the next big wave, the next like dopamine hit. You know what I'm saying? Party all the time. You know what I'm saying? But
Aries
I
here. Sorry. Sorry, had to put that out there. Fire
I
sign,
think
fellow fire sign. Sorry.
we're
Sorry.
here. You know what I'm saying? I got you. So, but knowing
Hmm.
that about myself, again, have to
Fair, you're
put
a
it into
Virgo.
perspective and say at
I'm a
some
Virgo. I
point,
was just wondering if Virgos is compatible with y'all because I don't know nothing about that. I'm a Virgo. You're a
I think it's a
Scorpio. We
water
know.
sign.
Am I? I
I think
don't
it's a
know.
water sign.
Am I?
So
Because
both of
my
Well,
y'all is
daughter's
water
a water
signs?
sign.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think
Wait a minute.
Scorpio is a water sign.
But
Scorpio's a water sign.
the
Virgo,
thing
I
with
think, is a water
Virgo
sign.
compatibility, I
is
actually saw something on social media this morning that kind of resonated with me. So you don't have to be compatible with someone to get along with them. You just have to be able and willing to sometimes communicate and be able to agree to disagree.
Oh, it's an earth sign.
so she yeah, earth sign. I knew it's like, wait a
I'm an
minute,
earth
earth.
sign.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
an earth sign.
I'm grounded.
see,
That's crazy
sometimes I
to
gotta
me.
I gotta tap into Farrah's energy, and I gotta be grounded too, because otherwise I'd be out there. So I get it. I get it.
I think Farrah's on the edge of.
I
I
am
don't
on the
know.
cusp.
Farrah is
I'm on
her
the
own
cusp with a
sign.
Libra.
Yeah.
Farrah is her own
So,
sign. We're gonna get into your star
yeah.
chart one of these days.
Farrah is particular to Farrah.
She has a fire moon and a earth. I don't know. But yes,
I
we're
don't
gonna get
even
into
know.
your birth chart.
Oh, Libra is a cardinal air sign.
But how
I don't
boring
know
would
what
it
that
be if we
means.
always stayed with people who always think like us? It's like having a gray world, you know? There's no
Yeah.
black and white because everything's so gray and there's no rainbow colors. How
Yeah.
boring would it be without a rainbow? How crazy would that be? I can't even imagine not having a
I love
rainbow.
that as you're wearing a rainbow dress. She was like, "Listen, I don't talk about it, I
So
be about it."
so has social media changed how you guys interact with people, in person?
No.
Absolutely not.
You
Absolutely
know,
not. Now, I do know, oh, I shouldn't say I know. I've seen people on like share posts and they are talking about their online presence. They're talking to somebody they're meeting in the real world and they're sharing their number of followers. I'm like, I don't understand why this would ever come up in conversation. Me personally, I'm like, what does this
Not
got to do
unless the
with
other person
anything?
is, also an influencer or trying to get their count up. I'm not sure
hate
Yeah.
how
this.
that would.
I hate this. I dislike. Hate is such a strong word. I dislike this concept of following and followers. It's like a huge popularity contest, and it creates this illusion, this this fakeness. It's not really real. Just like these people don't really mean anything. They just like your content. That don't mean they like you as a person. Um, I don't know.
Well, that's what they
It's
follow
weird.
for. The follow is so that you'll get alerted. It's just really a mechanism for alert so that you get similar content in the future. And so I think that speaks to one of our previous
But
episodes
not
when we talked
you.
about
You
curation.
ask somebody in this generation, like my little one. He's like, "Oh, mom, I got 14 followers or whatever." It's like, and the impact that really impacts them. It's just like they like me. They like me. You look how many people like me, and I'm like, baby, they like what you created, and they don't know you. And it just
It's like liking music or television. Just because I like
Well,
the
that's
TV
the
show doesn't
thing.
mean I know the actor.
That's the thing. I think okay, we probably all know this song by Erica Badu, where she starts off, and I know you know it, Farrah, because we sang it in karaoke one time, where she is like, "Okay, everybody, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my right?" Because you're creating so you're creating this online presence, right? Whether it's persona, whether it's a whatever, right? But then it's a part of you that you've put out there for the world to see and judge. And there is a level of vulnerability that goes with that. And there are those that do live somewhat authentically, I would think, online. They're just like what you see is what you get.
but
But most of
more
the time, it's a
unauthentic people.
curated something. You know what I'm saying? They watched
Yes,
it back,
yes.
they edited it, so it requires a certain level of vulnerability to share that, right? You watched it back, you thought it was good enough, and you shared it, and then somebody tells you it's not good enough, and that might hurt you. So even though it's a curated experience, I don't want to discredit how much it might mean to someone or how much it might impact them. You know what I'm
Kind of like
saying?
with
There
cooking.
are those that live authentically online. I think they
Yes.
might exist, but I think to a certain
Yes.
extent, you have to do a certain amount of like reflecting and editing. So you're still curating an experience as
But a
opposed to
lot
just
but a lot of the
experiencing it.
experiences but a lot of the experiences, and love research, is fake. It's like these influencers back in Instagram. "Oh, I wanna be an influencer, I wanna be an influencer." And they will always say, "Oh, I made this amount of money doing this, that, and the other." And to come to find out years later, a lot of the stuff they was doing and creating was fake. It's not authentic. It's an illusion. All of it is just an illusion. I'm gonna give you a good reference. Okay, we all know what's going on with Iran and everything that's going on with this war, right? Dubai. Dubai is a place of perfection, pristine, money everywhere, billionaires, trillionaires. That's a place if you got money. They are killing that illusion right now. They are killing it. Dubai is no longer the perfect place for billionaires and millionaires to vacation. It's an illusion. It's a real. They killing the dream.
I mean, technically, all of this is an illusion, I would think, by those standards, because we feel safe in our homes right now, just like those millionaires and billionaires felt safe in that region. It's all an illusion at the end of the day.
It's an illusion of safety.
except for
It's
how
an
we
illusion
feel.
of security. It's an
So
illusion of safety. It's an illusion of having all these people that love and like you because they posted something online. They hit that little heart. You know what I'm saying? They left a little fire eye emojis under you. It's all an illusion.
Look, yep,
I
Well,
feel like it's
hopefully
them
it
adjacent
does.
fixes
code
with the next
switching.
generation because there's so many affirmations type stuff out there to make sure that our children love themselves before worrying about somebody else loving them. So
I think it's
I think
hopefully,
I think
I
it
I
know
think
my
is,
it's
daughter
but
loves
important to just
herself,
put it
I
but
in
feel like
perspective.
it's like I feel like it's adjacent to code switching. So like in certain areas, you're going to be a certain person. And so you curate this experience for
Oh,
people to see of you. When I'm at work, people don't get 100% of who I am. They get the manager, right? Because I am a people manager at work. I'm not going to be the same person at work to everybody, um, as I am here with you guys, right? There are some opinions that I can't share. I'm going to be authentic as the person, as the manager. I'm going to be direct and straightforward. I'm going to provide my ideas. I'm going to provide the information. It doesn't make me inauthentic to hold back a portion of myself. And so I
goodness.
feel like that's how that works online.
That's very true. But when you think about it, okay, when you think about it, you're in a manager role. And I saw somebody share on the TikTokers, like, oh, you're in a role. That's because we're all acting, right? Like, we're all acting.
Not
When you
I don't
go
feel
always.
like I'm
into work,
acting though.
you don't
I think it
bring
depends
your
on the
whole
person.
self, you bring your professional self, right? So you are acting as a manager. So you have to be in a professional role. Not that you're being inauthentic, but you understand that there's a time and place for everything. And I don't even know if
Time,
that's
place,
really
occasion.
code switching because you're still remaining true to yourself, but you're showing up because this is the time and place for professional Jessica to show up, right?
yeah, that's your role
So
you gotta
there's a
play.
time and place for us to show up online. We don't share everything on this podcast. You know what I'm saying? There's even been stuff that I've shared that I later asked Jessica. I was like, you know what? Actually, can you just cut that part? I don't really want to give that to the whole entire world. You know what I'm saying? And it's just
Mm.
because, again, there's a time and place. While I love our viewers, I appreciate all the subscribers, and I love the people that show up genuinely and authentically, and they're what's the word I'm looking for? Constructive. I love you guys. But I can't give you everything because some stuff is just for my family, some stuff is just for my friends here, and then later I'm like, oh, wait, everybody gonna see this though, not just my friends, you
I
know.
don't have
Yeah.
that kind of filter. I've
Well,
never had that kind of filter. I want that
I
filter,
think it's
and I've
I
asked
think
for
it's
that
because of
filter. Jessica be
context
trying to
though.
teach it to me, but I know I don't have it. My professional
Sometimes
self
I'll
is the same as my regular self. Like
so
when I used to work, because I don't work anymore.
sometimes I
Thank you,
cut some of your
Jesus.
stuff.
But I know, I
Sometimes
know,
I cut some of your
I
stuff
know. I told
that I
mommy you
know
be picking on me. I'm like, dang, Jessica
I
be cutting out
don't.
like a lot, but
I
it's cool.
don't. I don't cut out a
I'm
lot,
used to it.
but
I'm
like
used to it.
sometimes you'll make a
Jessica
snarky
is your
comment,
filter.
and I'm like, Farrah doesn't want to be seen as snarky, but that was a
Okay,
snarky comment, and
listen.
so I'll cut out a snarky comment that you'll
I
make.
was the
So
same way at work that I am. Like literally, if you ask anybody who's ever worked with me, I'm just who I am. Like I've never wished to be different. I have hoped to be better. Like I hope to grow. Of course, I'm getting older.
Mm.
I do want to grow and be more positive. I'm going to try and stop cursing because I don't think cursing is necessary and I don't want to teach it to my daughter. And when we were younger, we knew that using descriptive words was better than using a curse word. And you could actually tell somebody off with some descriptive words, man.
I don't think it's
But as
better.
you know, depending on who you're around, you end up speaking differently. However, my personality just tends to take over no matter where I am, whether it's professionally, in church. I just am who I am, and God just made me this way. And I feel like that's probably why I end up switching jobs sometimes. Um, I never really got fired like that, but I don't stay anywhere for long periods of time because of my inattention. And I feel like God made me this way because He needed me in different places to spread my personality for different people at different times. So I've worked in a factory, I've been a waitress, I've worked in a movie theater, I've worked in call centers, I've worked at theme parks. I've been some of almost every type of job you can think of. I've even worked for in car customer service. but God put me where I needed to be at that particular time, and my personality just couldn't change. I've even been a manager, funny enough. Don't know how I got there. I've
Yeah,
supervised 7-Eleven
you're a hopper,
because
whereas
that's where I could
I'm
be.
a
Look, that's where I could be
permanent girl.
myself. I am.
You're a
I just
hopper,
am who
whereas
I
I'm a
am.
permanent girl. Dude, I'm 6 years, 9 years. Like the companies that I'm at, like I'm like,
Yeah, I
nah.
can't do that. Like, I want to be, though. I have said that I wanted to keep a job because, those benefits, though. Those
Benefits are decent.
benefits. I don't get those
Um,
benefits like that.
so
But
so the last question, I think is that, um, so has anything changed about your daily habits? When, especially since this podcast, but social media in general, has it changed any of your daily habits?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I spend way too much time scrolling Instagram. I be girl. You know how they have those
Dead
little
scrolling?
trackers and they'll tell you and they be like, "Oh, you've been on this thing for like 8 hours. You've been doing this for 10." I'm like, "Dang, I put in a shift.
8 hours?
I'm gonna do better.
Oh my goodness.
I need to
Wow.
do better." So, with that being said, I do know this about myself. So, I've gotten some hobbies that take me off the internet totally and completely. So, I just make it a point to try to incorporate that in my everyday life. I think social media is very pervasive if we let it. And it also stops us from being bored, but being bored is a necessary emotion to feel because it actually allows us to go into a different state of thinking. It allows us to go places in our mind where maybe we are able to problem solve. But if you're constantly online or being stimulated, you don't go into those recesses of your mind. You don't start processing different things. So, it absolutely changes my everyday habits. But I also try to remember that sometimes it's not good and I have to be aware, be like, "Oh, I gotta limit it," but it's definitely a part of my everyday life.
So, what about you, Autumn?
Social media kind of upended my life in a way.
Yeah?
Hmm.
It upended my life. I wasn't really on social media prior to it upended my life. So I've been on it since that, and I'm on it like constant because I couldn't understand the concept of everybody being on Facebook. Facebook. Everybody got to post everything on Facebook. I'm like, I want everybody in my business in Facebook. I had a few friends, people I socialized with, high school, whatever, family, but I wasn't a regular poster on Facebook, and I really didn't log in. But when a situation happened, it's just like it just blew the doors off of my social media presence. Right now, I'm trying to get back to normal because during the time I felt like social media is like an addiction. It can be an
Mm.
addiction if you don't know how to control it. So now I'm just curtailing myself, my time, the time that I spend on social media. I'm trying to lessen it more and more. And if I do get on it, I make sure it's in a productive manner, like to do research or some other things besides just looking at other people's feeds or just for entertainment purposes. Um, but has it really changed my habits? Mm, I'm more
It's like
social.
somewhat,
Yeah,
kind
somewhat.
of,
I'm
sort of.
more social, kind of social now. Uh, but it doesn't really impact my daily life. I still do the same things I used to do prior to me being on social media. I just more active and I'm more it's bringing me out of my shell as well with you guys doing this podcast. I never used to, I'm a shy person. I'm an introvert, keep my life and my things to myself. But yeah, it's just a small impact. Not
So
not
just so
not
you
major.
know, when you said that's like an addiction, it's not like an addiction. It is an addiction because it actually does impact your brain in a way, the same way that caffeine or Coke or any type of medicines would impact you, and it releases those dopamine chemicals. So Just like if you watch a lot of violence and negative videos, you'll actually be impacted in a way that your brain is actually seeing that stuff like it was real life, and it will put you into depression and anxiety. Same way if you're watching a lot of baby videos and a lot of things that are positive and making you happy, you get the dopamine effect that is a stimulant and making you happy. Just so you know.
But but it's not okay. It feels addictive. I can cut
It's
it on and off.
Well, no, I'm not saying
it's
you're
I,
addicted, but
oh
some
No,
no,
she's
people
not saying
yeah,
are
you're
actually
addicted.
addicted.
Yeah.
So
it's
so
actually
just like with cigarettes, some people can smoke a cigarette and then not smoke it again for weeks, and then they smoke a cigarette. That's a slight
hey,
addiction. Same thing with social media. Some people have a serious addiction and they need it to live. Some
well,
people,
social
slight
media is
addictions.
designed that way. Social media is
Yeah.
designed to be addictive. It's designed to condition you to
Mhm.
look for the next dopamine hit to keep you engaged. There's not a
Mhm.
lot of industries out there where they
Mhm.
talk about users. Okay. One of the industries is the drug industry. Okay. You have users, and then you have social media. That's not a coincidence, it's by design. It wants you to be engaged, it wants you to be plugged in, it wants your attention, and it does things to keep you on there longer. So you actively have to train yourself to say, "Oh, I've actually engaged a little too much with this. It's time for me to do something else." You know? So fortunately, like Farah was saying, there are some people that don't have very addictive personalities. I tried a cigarette once and I never tried it again. I drink socially. I'm just not, I just don't have an addictive personality. And it's not to my credit. It's nothing that I did in particular. You know what I'm saying? It's just how I am. But social media purposely impacts people a certain way. It wants you to be addicted. That's when it is most
Mhm.
effective, is when it keeps people in that loop. So we just got to be mindful as a people and say, where do I really want my attention and my time to be spent? Do I
And I
want to
think the
live
unfortunate
online or do
part
I want to choose a different life for me? And I'm not saying that either one is wrong, but I'm just saying you should be in control of your life. You should be in
we need to live
control.
in
Who's in the
reality
driver's
more.
seat?
Yeah.
We need
Well,
to
I
live
think
in reality more.
one of the unfortunate things about it is that people don't identify it as an addiction. So people who know that addiction runs in their
Like
family,
coffee
um, they
or
well,
tea
kind of like coffee or tea,
or
and
chocolate. Mm.
people will say, "Hey, I have an alcoholic father. I'm going to stay away from alcohol and other things that I see as a possibly addictive. I'm not going to try drugs. I'm not gonna drink alcohol often. I'm not going to try smoking because I know addiction runs in my family." And so I think that because people don't identify it as an addiction, when they have addiction that runs in their family and then they end up addicted to social media, they still don't identify that as a problem. And so
Yeah.
sometimes they get into that, what I call it, dead scrolling, where you're just hours and you're going, you're getting the next
Out of
hit, like you said,
habit.
that dopamine hit out of habit.
Yeah,
Sometimes
it's
you
like
you don't
muscle
even like
memory.
you sit down and you immediately open your phone.
Yeah.
And so I don't I think that's the problem, is that it doesn't identify in people's brains as if it is another addiction. So
So how does it
that's
impact
kind of
you,
the
Jess?
unfortunate piece. Um, from on a day-to-day basis, it has changed just a couple of things. So like I said earlier, I can identify with certain things that I wasn't able to identify with before. And then because I run our social media accounts, I have to check it. So I have been exposed more to I'm a idealist. So in many times I'm like people are amazing. People are good, and they like it from, I would rather think that people are good and that something impacted them, so that now they're
Hmm.
having negative feelings or something, rather than feel that they are innately evil, right? Some of the comments make me question that thought
Oh,
process.
Oh.
So I
No, they're
try
still
to
good.
I try to keep it in perspective that everybody is taught. Nobody is born evil. They are taught certain things that end up with them being a certain way. Um, so it impacts my daily life in the fact that like I'm exposed to more, especially through our social media accounts. Um,
Sure.
and I try, again, like you said, I tried not to dead scroll Like if I wake up in the morning and somebody sends me like a meme or some link to something, I'll watch that, and sometimes I'll immediately scroll, or the next video will start playing on its own. I will consciously be like, all right, it is 5:43 in the morning. I will scroll until 5:46. I have until 5:46. And so until 5:46, if there is a video playing at that time, I'll let that video finish. Now I'm done. And so I set specific time boundaries, so that I don't get caught up in the dead scrolling. So that's how I try to work that out for myself. Because, like you said, sometimes, especially when it does hit home, when I'm seeing the videos about ADHD, about neurodivergent thought processes, and seeing somebody bake a cake for the first time, and somebody's kids walking for the first time. It's so cute. It's so nice. But we get caught up in that in that dopamine hit. Oh, that's so cute. Oh, that's so cool. Oh my gosh, I identify with that. Oh my gosh, I think this Autumn would love this. So you get caught up in that wheel. So I have to give myself, like, I literally look at the time, and then I say, all right, how much time do I want to spend on this? And then I set myself a time in the future. Sometimes that time is 15 minutes in the future. Sometimes it's 3 minutes. Sometimes I'll give myself a whole hour. If I'm like, I woke up at 6 and I don't have to be out till 8, I have until 7. I'll give myself an hour. I don't know if I'll actually stay on it, but I give myself till 7.
It's a very good
So
practice.
yeah,
Very good
it
practice.
is. It's very. I try to standardize it so that I don't get caught up in it, because it's easy to do that.
Super
And
You know
easy.
what
Keisha, we're
I
It's
doing this
looking
bunch
at
for
design.
social media impacts because I'm
implemented something similar to what you're doing, Jess. I saw a video. I don't know if Denzel Washington created it or somebody used his voice, but he was saying in the video, don't pick up your phone. That is the first thing we as humans been doing, is just picking up our phone. Don't don't do that. So what I've been doing is, instead of reaching for my phone as soon as I open my eyes, I'll get up, I'll stretch, go use the restroom, brush my teeth. So teeth, I said teeth. Teeth. So I spend an hour and a half at least avoiding anything pertaining to social media. An hour, get breakfast done, do the dishes, do what's going to make me feel rooted in reality before I pick up that phone. And that has helped a lot. Also, and I need to start back doing this. I used to always have my phone on me. I mean, next to my bed when I go to sleep. I'm looking at it before I go to bed, and I'll be on it for hours, for hours. I take my devices and I put it in another room, let it charge. So
Yeah.
I'm able to rest. So I have a restful night sleep, and then I wake up and get my day started first before I jump into this illusion of a life.
That's
So
really
just
Which
good.
just an
so
adjacent, just context with that. If so, I, as a people manager, I can't do that. So people will text me about being at work and things like that in the morning. So as an alternative, just for people who found that helpful, don't go to messages that have links. So I will avoid messages that have links to things, and I avoid going directly to social media. I will only check for the things that I need to check
is
for,
important.
which
Yeah.
is messages from people from work and things like that. So Farah, you were about to say something though.
I was just saying that I'm the weirdo in the group as far as the impact for day-to-day life because I forget where my phone is the majority of the day. I don't even know where it is. Like I look at Facebook and stuff and TikToks when y'all send them to me, but I wake up and I forget my phone in the house when I'm leaving the house, and then my watch goes and I'm like, oh crap, my phone, because I haven't touched my phone the whole morning, and sometimes I'm leaving first thing in the morning, but sometimes it's 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, oh crap. Where did my phone go? When's the last time I used it? So thank God that these watches have the find your phone function, because I don't know where it is. So
I think your impact is mostly through your partner, because you guys watch Mr. Ballin videos. He sends you stuff to watch, and
yeah,
like we
he
send you.
he
So
watches
I feel
social
like
media a lot,
like
and
I
you
feel like
you send me stuff.
you
Everybody sends
are
me stuff,
adjacent.
so that's
Like
how I
people
keep up with
send
everything
you.
else.
Yeah.
But
So
I lose my
I
phone
feel like that's
so
how
bad.
your impact is your connection to others.
I
Yeah.
think that we are all impacted day to day by social media. It has permeated all of our lives. It is ubiquitous. You know what I'm
Well, I
saying?
wouldn't say day to day
Unless
because
you
I
are,
can go days without doing it. So even when y'all send messages, I know that y'all notice sometimes I don't check it for 3, 4 days. Because I lost my phone all day, and by the time I finally find it, I can only catch up with the messages that are necessary because I'm getting my daughter ready for bed or something. And who has time to sit there and watch Facebook and TikTok? And then I don't want to get lost, which I know I'm going to because I haven't checked it for so many days. Especially,
I can say
it's so
that
fun.
for you guys have like when you go to sleep, you have the phone going the entire night. I feel like that's creepy because sometimes I will pass your room and some murder story is playing while you guys are sleeping.
Well,
And I'm
actually,
like,
I'm asleep most of the time when he starts
I
those. So
I
it's still not
know.
day to day for
That's what's
me. So he'll
insane to
come and say, "We
me
watch Mr. Ballin' at night." For those who are like,
cuz
it's not always
that's
murder.
what it's not always
Sometimes it's
murder,
health
but
something or history something. But
it's some of
if he comes
everything, but
into the room and I'm
sometimes
already asleep, he's of course gonna play it.
yes.
But if I'm
It
if
is
I'm if I get to hear it, great. If not, eh. So social
yeah,
media is not my
what I'm saying
everyday
is
type of thing.
what I'm saying
I'm
is that
not
you
that
got
I don't
you
want it to be. I
you
just
have a deep
forget.
REM sleep. You have
I
a deep
do.
REM
I be
sleep.
good sleeping,
I do
man.
not. If I
yeah.
listened to murder mysteries while I was sleeping, I would
You
not
be have
sleep.
bad dreams.
I just literally would, I'd be like, okay, sleep is what other people do. This is not something, apparently it's
No,
not made for me.
sometimes when I do,
I
if
will
I
go
am
to
awake
sleep to
when they
murder
play, I'll
mysteries.
keep listening. And there's some sad
I get
stories.
upset though. I purposely do not go to sleep to murder mysteries because I'd be mad because I want to know
Hey,
what
Mr.
happened.
Ballin,
So I had to stop the video
we love you.
because I need to know how
No,
the story ends.
I don't. Mr.
Yeah.
Ballin,
You
She
don't.
said that
But
means
Never
leave
heard
you
of
me
the
have,
person.
a
alone.
lot of his stories, I feel like
Stay
people need to
mysterious.
listen to Mr. Ballin because some of these things, they're
Never
all
heard
real
of this
life horror
person.
stories.
You guys.
They're real life horror
you
stories,
probably heard
and a lot of
of
it
a
is
lot of
stuff you
stories
wouldn't
that he's
expect
told.
that can happen in real life. Like,
I
so,
Oh
also listen
you
to
no.
know,
real life
especially
horror
since I have
stories.
inattention, people could be watching you and you don't even know, man. It's
Look, I
awful.
have had arguments about Mr. Ballin's stories because people are like, no, but just let me tell you. And I'm like, absolutely not. I
I
don't
don't
want
want
to
that in my
know.
life.
But hold on.
Really
Just,
Never
good.
heard
just
of this
tell me.
person. Who is this
So
Go
person?
I
look
don't
it
know, but
up.
I'm
He
gonna
has
check him
like
out.
some really good podcasts.
he talks about,
I'm gonna
he
check
has a
him out now.
podcast that tells you like real life stories that have happened to people. Some of them are horrific. Some of them are just like really weird.
Some
But
of
he
them are
tells you like the
ridiculous
whole story
because
of like how they have happened, how like from
don't
the
go
beginning
places where you're
it
not
happened.
supposed to go. So he has this like this whole because he has different sections, you know, like I said, he has history, he has the murder mysteries, he has health issues where stuff that people did, like there was this one time that this girl, she kept on getting sick and nobody knew what was wrong. She swallowed a block when she was little. She stuck it up her nose and it ended up going into her system. But anyways, yeah, it's a bunch of stuff that you just don't expect, right?
He just
And
got a new subscriber.
some of the stories, they're real life stuff that you're like, oh my
Sign me
goodness,
up.
like
Sign
that
me
could
up.
happen to me. Like there was this, I believe there was this one lady.
I don't
Oh,
want
it
to know
This
happened
is
to
a
me.
good
anymore.
one. See, this was a good
Oh,
one. Yeah, you don't like good
see,
stories either. You don't like positivity, and you made me forget what I was
Okay,
about to
fair,
say.
but could it happen to
See,
you though if you've been listening to the stories and you know what to look out for now? Because I'd be listening, I'd be like,
well, me, yeah, because you know I
they're
probably
not gonna
forgot
catch
the
me
story until the
slipping.
next time I heard it. I remembered for
Jesus.
5 seconds that positive
Ah,
story I
dang,
was
you
about to
right.
tell you.
Yeah, you right. You right. Yeah,
Dang.
that's true.
It was actually
Okay,
a
you
really
right.
good outcome. It's one of the ones I was like, that's what I'm talking about. Because sometimes there's such sad endings. I'm like, oh, that hurt my heart. How could that happen? But once in a
See,
while, he has some good stories where I'm like, that's a good ending, Mr.
look,
Ballin.
you started
Yes.
talking about Mr. Ballin, a spider came down and
See,
landed.
it's because you
I
were being
swear.
negative. Something came
It's
to
not
come
because,
tell you, listen to Mr.
no.
Ballin.
That's
And
not what that
this,
Anyways, he
spider
does
said.
actually
people, is
have
the
some of his
impact of
stories.
social media.
The impact.
People, this is the
Exactly. Farrah's like, I'm
impact
not
of
impacted by
It's
social
social
tearing
media.
media.
families apart.
That, there it is.
It's
There it
tearing
is.
I
families
do
apart.
like Mr. Ballin's stories. If I
Tearing
can
families
remember
apart.
more of them, I'd like him even more.
Oh,
This
goodness.
is the impact, y'all. Y'all see it firsthand.
All right.
Y'all see it firsthand.
No,
So
I just need to listen to it daily. If I could do that, maybe I'll
no.
remember more stories.
Yeah, the unfortunate part about Mr. Ballin videos is because is that everybody who listens to them is like, "Wait, wait, wait. No, I just wanna tell you a little bit of it. I don't
But
wanna
it's not
know."
always bad. Like I told you, sometimes he has some really good stories that
Look,
have really good
some people
outcomes.
just have a blanket no. That's Mr. Ballin.
She
He's just
said
got a
hard
blanket no for
pass.
me.
Hard pass.
Hard pass.
Actually, you did like that one
I'm
story
sure
that was
he's a
on.
nice guy.
You liked the one of the history ones that I told you about. You were like, "Oh, that was actually really interesting."
And the reason why it's a no thank you is because some of them start out really nice. And then you're like, "Oh, I listened to half of it. You should listen to it." And I'm like, they all died at the end.
No, they didn't. The one about the history that I told you about
Maybe
that
not
lady
that
who went
one,
into
but you
that
be
psych
sending me
ward,
ones.
that was actually a really good one. Keisha, you'll love the history ones because
I'm
you
gonna
love
get on
Yeah.
history.
it. You ain't
She's
gotta
gonna
tell me
love
twice,
all of them.
girl.
She loves
As
stuff like that.
as soon as
It's
we get
really
off of this,
good.
I'm gonna
Mr. Ball,
subscribe.
she's about to go binge.
Thank you, babes. I'm
But
gonna be
some,
all over it.
social media
I'm
can
gonna go
be
put in a
good for
shift.
certain
I'm gonna go
things,
put
like
in a
with,
shift.
especially with YouTube. Some of the educational stuff, not all of it, because I don't know if you remember. I think
I'm
was
not sure
actually
if
on one of our other
YouTube is
podcasts.
social media
Some
though.
social media, the kids like learning stuff, they were putting in grown up stuff. So if you don't watch
Oh,
it,
they still do
your
that.
kids will end up watching cartoons having sex, which is
It is
awful.
kind of
You should
social
always
media.
watch what your children watch. YouTube is
I mean,
considered
it's
social
the
media.
same.
You
I
can
think it
even,
is.
It's
I'm
the
gonna
same.
Google it.
besides the commenting, you can comment. So I actually
Yes.
looked up what social media is
So
earlier
this.
so that way I can comment because I didn't want to accidentally comment on the wrong thing. Because I remember
You know what?
asking Autumn last week if television was considered social media, and she was like, "No, son, what are you talking about?" I was like, "Then I need
Can
to look up
somebody
what
look
social
up
media is."
what is social media? Can somebody look
I
up the
could look it
definition
up,
of
but
what
I
social
did
media
Google.
is?
I could
But
look
I
it
think
up, but I
we're
did Google is YouTube social media, and it said yes, it is a major platform in
I'm telling
social
you,
media.
I looked it up.
Social media
Okay.
Television
means
isn't social media. I really thought it was,
social
but it's
media is
not.
websites and applications that enable users to create and share content or participate in anything in social networking. So LinkedIn is
that makes
social
sense.
media. All of it
It
is
Yeah.
is.
social media.
Okay.
That
Does
would be
anybody have any
good.
very quick tips?
Here you go.
Basically.
Take regular breaks from digital devices, turn off notifications, establish phone free hours and spaces, discuss appropriate boundaries and behaviors when interacting online. And parents, don't think that just because you tell your kids don't be on social media, if you're on social media, they'll listen, because modeling is the best example. But even with adults, the thing is you should not cut social media out altogether. You have to find what did I tell you, Jessica, earlier? You have to find your sweet spot because too much is bad and too little is bad as well. You've got to find your sweet spot.
All right. On this episode, we talked about social media and its impact on our day-to-day life, how it may impact people becoming narcissistic or enhancing narcissistic traits. We talked about whether has enhanced our need for validation and where we see validation needed more online. And we talked about how comments might impact us in day-to-day life and whether using a filter might come up as inauthentic and how that kind of has an adjacent connection to using makeup. We talked about people having options for friends and what that looks like, whether we had that illusion maybe of having more access to people because there are just so many people. We talked about how it changes how we relate to others in person and if it's significantly changed our daily habits. And we kind of agreed that everybody's daily habits have been impacted at least in some way, shape, or form. In the comments down below, tell us how you've been impacted by social media and if you feel like it has been a negative or a positive experience. Thanks for joining us again on Different Walks, Serious Talks, and we'll see you next time.